Good morning, everybody. Morning, Francis. Morning, Amira.
Good morning.
Good morning. If you're able to put your camera on, that would be fantastic because we'd love to see you and welcome you in. There you are. Nice to meet you.
Okay. Nice to meet you too.
And Amira, if you're able to put your camera on, if you can't, don't worry. I can do a little prompt to help you to start it. And we've just got a couple of other people that are joining us. So we'll wait till everybody's got their audio and they can hear us okay. And then we'll do some introductions. Don't worry, Amira, that's fine. If you can't start your video, as long as you can hear us okay. If anybody has any difficulty, then please feel free to use the chat box at the bottom and just pop any questions in or any help that you need as we go through the session. I can just see we've got one other person who's trying to join us. It might just be a Wi-Fi or connection issue, so I'll just give them a couple of minutes. We are going to record today's session as well, so we'll be able to send you out the recording afterwards so you can look through the slides again, and we'll give you the contacts. So if you want to email us with any questions or anything afterwards, then I'll pop that into the chat box for you as well at the end. Okay, should we make a start, Jill? Is that okay with you?
Sure, yeah, no problem.
Perfect. Okay, so welcome to everybody this morning. It's lovely to have you here. And we're really happy to share with you a really exciting opportunity. So it's a collaboration between ourselves at Best Practice Network and Kids Planet Nurseries. So it's a really exciting opportunity where you'll get to be employed in one of the Kids Planet settings. And at the same time, you'll also be able to study for your early years initial teacher training. So just to introduce myself, I'm Helen Royston and I'm head of EYTS at Best Practice Network, and I'm joined by Jill.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jill. I'm a training director at Kids Planet Nurseries.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to talk through this morning what the programme is like, so what you'll be doing as you're studying for your early years teacher status, and then also what are the benefits of getting a job and gaining employment with Kids Planet. So as I said, any questions, please just pop them into the chat box and we'll pick them up at the end. So first of all, what are the benefits of being part of this scheme? It's going to make you an expert in the early years. So the programme is designed to give you up-to-date knowledge all across that early age range. So right from birth all the way through to 5. Part of our programme is about developing your leadership skills. So you'll do lots of different activities, like looking at how you can support your team, how you can develop a leadership plan, and how you can really see the best of those opportunities within the setting that you're working in. You're going to get a really good understanding of the curriculum. So working really closely with the early years foundation stage, but also learning about national curriculum and what happens as children get older and go into school, but those best practice approaches. So very much looking at how do Kids Planet, deliver that high quality childcare? Why do they choose to teach the children or learn through play in those particular ways? It's really, really important that you're able to differentiate for children's individual needs. So we do put lots of time in, so you're able to learn about how we can best support and what strategies you could use for children who may have special educational needs and or a disability, for children who speak English as additional language, and for all those different groups. It's also about how you can really build upon your professional skills. So thinking about the different people that you'll come in contact with every day in your role at Kids Planet. So how will you build those really strong partnerships with parents? How are you going to work effectively as a team and the colleagues that are in your setting? and thinking about those children who might need extra support. What does that look like if you're working with multi-agency teams? The absolute star benefit of this is that you're getting to gain your status, as I said, whilst you're earning. So you're getting to work at the same time as gaining all that experience. So you're really, really getting the best of both worlds. If in this role that we're talking about, the GEB in brackets stands for graduate employment based, and that would be the route that you would be on. So you might be thinking, why do you want to train with best practice? If you are interested in your early years teacher status, there are, of course, lots of different providers that offer that status. We are really proud to say that we're the largest provider for early years initial teacher training. So we currently have 2 cohorts of trainees, some that start in January and some that start in September. Our team are all early years experts, so we all either still work within early years settings or we have done previously. So you've really got that expert knowledge from people within the team as well. And we do have a really, really high success rate. So if you start this status with us, we will do everything we can to support you to achieve that, and make sure that you gain your qualification and you're ready to tackle the challenges, because it is a challenging role being an early years teacher, but you're going to come out of it feeling really, really well prepared. So there are 2 different routes, but this morning we're talking about the one along the bottom. So you would be employed in one of the fantastic Kids Planet settings, wherever you're based, and you would be on our graduate employment-based route. There's also another benefit to this. So as well as having your job at Kids Planet, it's not going to cost you a penny to gain this qualification. It's fully funded by the DFE. So there's no training cost to yourself whatsoever. You're also going to be supported by Kids Planet because they're able to get a £7,000 payment and an employer incentive. And that payment is there to make sure that they can support you in gaining your teacher status. It will mean that you'll be able to go on a short placement of 25 to 30 days in school to gain experience there, and they'll be able to use that money to cover you whilst you're out of setting. You also get to come to training days. So those are usually about once a month, and we'll talk about those in a moment. So again, they're able to release you so you can come and spend that time with the other early years teachers that are busy working on the programme. So you might want to know a little bit more. What does it look like? What kind of things will you be doing? So we do have those training days, and there are 2 options there. You can either come to a face-to-face group, which is in your local area, or you might prefer to join those sessions online. So we do have virtual sessions as well. You'll have access to 2 online systems. So one of them is called Canvas, and that's very much like a resource library. On Canvas, you're going to find modules, videos, webinars, handbooks, everything that will support you in developing your knowledge. The second platform is the one that we use to assess you. So on Mosaic, that's where you'll upload your teaching plans, you'll upload the different activities that you've been working on, and your mentor and your personal tutor from Best Practice will be able to provide you with some feedback and help you and guide you on your journey through the programme. You do all get a personal tutor. So again, that's somebody from within my team. And as I said, they're an early years expert and they will support you all the way through. So that will be a mixture of emails, Teams calls, coming to meet you face to face, coming out to the Kids Planet settings and speaking to your manager or your mentor there, and also coming out to see you at school. Within the settings, Jill will make sure that you have a lead trainer. So those lead trainers are there to help to organise you accessing your training days, going on your placements, and also having some time to study. So we do acknowledge it's very busy. You're going to be very busy doing your day-to-day job, and you also need to have that time to study. So you are entitled to 10% study time built into your working hours. Jill will also help to identify a mentor within the setting where you're based. And that mentor is going to be there to support you as well. And they're going to observe you each week. So they're going to watch you delivering the activities, and they're going to give you some feedback on how you can work on your next steps. Something again that we are really proud of is the fact that whilst we may all be aiming for the same end goal in terms of meeting those early years teacher standards, you'll all have your own individual plan. So we need to acknowledge that you all come with different experiences and different knowledge at the beginning. So it may be that you're quite new to early years, in which case we will create a path that's unique to you. It may be that you've got lots of experience working in nurseries already, or a particular area is a specialism for you. So again, we'll make sure that your targets and your next steps are individual. This is just a little graphic so you can have an idea of what it looks like across the year. So everybody starts off in the induction period on the left-hand side, and we'll take lots of time with you to help you get used to those two systems online so you can feel really familiar and find all the resources that you need. We do also do a little diagnostic. So we use a system called BKSB. And that's just used to help everybody to upskill in maths. But please don't let this put you off. If maths is not your favourite subject, or you maybe didn't have a good experience with it at school, it's a really nice system to use. So all it will do is it will identify which topics do you maybe need a little bit more support in. So if, for example, it's ratios, we will just set little tasks throughout the year. So that initial stage is just like a little starting point assessment. You can see each term looks quite similar. So you'll always come out for training and have that opportunity to come and, access different topics, speak to different people, and help you with the tasks that are coming up on programme. You get to work on different learning sequences, and all a learning sequence is assessing the children in your room, planning some activities for them, and checking on the progress that they're making. And we link that in with the theory and with the reading from your training days. So you'll complete a learning sequence in each of the age groups that you work in. So whilst you're in the baby room, for example, you might decide that you want to focus on personal, social, and emotional development, and you might plan some activities around that. And then it may be when you go to preschool, you're going to focus on a specific area of the EYFS, and you're going to look at maths and how you can develop the children's skills in those areas. And you can see at the end of every half term, we make sure that you have a little review. And that will happen with your personal tutor and your mentor from Kids Planet. So we can all get together and we can all see how you're doing and what support you might need for the next term. As we get towards the end, we then go into our final recommendation period. And that's where we are at the moment for people who started last September. That's when we do a final check against those early years teacher standards. Do you have the evidence that you need? Are we happy to put you forward? But we don't leave it there. Even when you pass and you come through, we set a little transition plan up for you. So for your first year as an early years teacher, you've still got lots of support in place there as well. This is just to show you what the curriculum looks like. So you can have a little idea of the different kind of topics that we'll touch on and the things that you will cover at the training days. So as I've already said, it's really important you've got the knowledge and understanding of the key curriculum documents like the EYFS and the National Curriculum Expectations. Everything we do is underpinned by reading and research. So before each training day, you get access to a Padlet, which has lots of different articles, blogs, videos to watch, so you can really increase your knowledge in those areas. We do cover leadership theory. We look at things like different strategies for supporting behaviour, child development theory, special educational needs and disability. And you can see around the outside, we've got what we call a 5 core curriculum links, and they feed into everything that we do. On the right-hand side, that just gives you a little bit of an idea of how we assess you. So you'll have your learning sequences that you're working on that we just talked about. You get to do 1 written account, which is assessed at a level 6. And then you get observed every week by your mentor and 5 times by your personal tutor. All of those things come together. So it's very formative as we go through. And then we just assess you right at the end against those teacher standards. And you'll get very familiar with this map because we share it with you at the start of every training session, so you can really see what progress you're making. This will hopefully give you a little bit of an idea of how that breaks down into the different training days. So day 1, as you can see, is all about how you can be an effective early years teacher. Day 2 looks at supporting those individual children's needs and what kind of strategies we can use. Day 3 is very much about the youngest children. So we're looking at the under 3s there, thinking about attachment theory and that key person role that you'll have in your job at Kids Planet. Day 4 is thinking about early reading, phonics strategies, and supporting early math skills. Day 5 is all around your leading practice, and that fits in with the written task that you have to complete. Day 6 is a focus on inclusion and diversity. Day 7, again, is looking at special different strategies that we can use that we think are really, really important in those different age groups. So we like to spend some time looking at different approaches like sensory play, maybe Montessori approach, Reggio Emilia, and look at the theory that sits behind some of the things that we do. Day 8 is where we focus on how all that fantastic work that we do in the early years links into what happens later on as they get into school. And day 9 is our final interviews. So when you get to the end, you get the opportunity to share with us all the different things that you've worked on and show us your portfolio that you've put together. I'm just going to pause for a second and see if we've got any questions in the chat box. Amira, you do need to be working in the UK in order to be eligible to join the programme, but that's something that I can follow up in a minute when we look at the eligibility, and obviously we can look at what your next steps could be afterwards, so don't worry about that for now. We talked a little bit about the mentor before, so you will have a mentor identified for you at Kids Planet. And this again is going to be somebody who we consider to be an expert colleague. So usually it's somebody like your manager, your deputy manager, maybe somebody who is working towards their level 5 qualification, or maybe a room leader. So somebody who's got lots of experience themselves and will be able to help you develop as an early years teacher, or to support you with your knowledge in particular areas. We want them to be able to share their experience with you, be able to model with you if there's certain things that we feel that you need to work on. They will observe you every week for half an hour, and they'll give you some feedback. And that's really, really important because that's your practical teaching. So whilst we'll be looking at all the things that you're developing in terms of your knowledge, it's how effectively can you put that into your practice? What do your interactions look like with the children? How effectively can you support the learning? You will be given some targets to help you to work towards the standards. So again, some of them will be really short term, and it might be something that we want to see you put into practice the next week. And some of them will be things that will take months, and we'll just work on them slowly until we get to that point. Your mentor is also there to help you to spend that different time in the age groups, and to help you with your work and check that you're working towards your deadlines. Everybody does have to go on a placement. So you can see on the screen that these are some of the requirements for anybody who is undertaking initial teacher training. So because this is a status for early years, we do have to show that everybody has spent time across the age groups 0 to 5. So you're really lucky in your Kids Planet settings, you can cover babies, toddlers, and preschool. So you've ticked those off straight away. So usually all that's then needed is your placement in school. Your placement in school is broken down into 25 days. So you'll spend 20 days in reception class in the school. And whilst you're there, you're going to focus your time on the teaching of phonics and the teaching of maths. You'll then have 5 days, which are just an experience in Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2. So whilst you're in those age groups, you're not directly teaching, but you're just able to observe what is the teacher doing, how does it look different in terms of behaviour management, is the assessment different, and again, develop your knowledge of what we build on at the beginning, what does that look like as the children get older. It is really important that the school that you go to, or if you did need to go to another setting, that you're going to see really good practice and you're going to be able to work with and observe a teacher who is teaching effectively. And that's why those settings have to be rated good or outstanding with Ofsted. So when you choose your setting, and again, I'm sure that Kids Planet may have links already with the transition schools that lots of the children go to, it is something that we'll look at and we'll check that they're able to support you effectively as well. It does have to be a setting that delivers the EYFS or again, works towards those national curriculum expectations. We do find that sometimes people are nervous about those placements, particularly if it's an age group that they've not worked in before. But at the end of the program, it's usually one of the things that everybody says, I really enjoyed that. It was really good to go somewhere else and see how they do things. Really interesting to see, you know, different policies and different approaches. So again, if it is something that you're nervous about, we'll support you with that. Just to make sure that you understand how you are assessed, as I said, it's very formative. So it's through the observations, it's through the work that you're completing and the targets that you set and the progress that you're making. All of those things will then come together. And that's how we'll be able to say, yes, you've mastered those early years teacher standards and you've got really good knowledge of the early years curriculum. Your personal tutor will help to make that summative judgment and show that you've met the early years teacher standards, and it will then go forward to exam board and we'll then put forward that recommendation for your early years teacher status. So usually final interviews are around the beginning of July, and then you'll find out that you've got your status end of July, beginning of August. To look a little bit at the eligibility and what you need to be able to take part in early years initial teacher training, you do need to have a degree. It does not have to be a degree in early years, so it can be a degree in anything as long as it's equivalent to a level 6. You do need to have a GCSE, again, in English, maths and science. So on the old grading system, that would be a grade C or above. Or on the new grading system, it's a grade 4 or above. Now, again, if you're in the situation where you have an international qualification, we do just need to check that that's a recognised equivalent. So we do that by using the ENIC process, and we will make sure we get a comparability statement that shows that your qualification is that same level as a GCSE. We also do tend to have lots of people in that situation where they have 1 or 2 GCSEs missing and they think, oh no, I can't go any further forward. That's really not the case. So you do have the option of taking an equivalency test in any of those GCSE subjects. And I'll talk to you about that in a moment. There's a couple of different options that you can use for that. You do have to demonstrate you've got the right to study and also work in the UK. And we do need to check your competence in spoken and written English. So there's a few different ways that we do that through the interview process. One of them is that we do ask you to present a little presentation. So you'll be answering the question, what's the importance of play? You've got time to prepare for that beforehand, so you come into the interview feeling really ready. You also have to have a satisfactory DBS check to obviously be able to work in a Kids Planet setting as well. So this is one of the options for equivalency testing, because we do have lots of people in that same situation. We are lucky that we've managed to get a little bit of a discount with equivalency testing. So you can use the code that you can see there at the top of the screen, and that will give you the discounted rate. So if you feel that you're quite ready and you could just take the exam, you've got the option to book that in and take it at a time that suits you before we start the program in September. If you feel that you need a little bit of a recap, or you want to refresh and you want some time to revise, you have the option at the bottom to do the homework assignments. So you've got some opportunity to practice before you book your date in for the exam. You don't have to use equivalency testing. You can use any of the others, for example, A-Star. There's lots of different companies that do that. But we're also really excited to say that for the first time, if it's your maths GCSE that you need, we've actually developed our own maths equivalency test that will not cost you anything. So it's free. You can do that through best practice. But that one is just for the purposes of getting onto our program. So it might not, for example, be accepted by other providers. So if it's your maths that you need, again, I'll share my email at the end. You can come to me and ask for some information about that one. And now I think it's over to you, Jill, to talk about Kids Planet.
Thanks, Helen. Yeah, so at Kids Planet, we have 196 nurseries. I keep changing because we keep growing across England and Wales. So we have nurseries all over the country. So depending on where you live, I'm sure we can map a placement to your home address. And we have a lot of benefits. So we really thought about our team. We pride ourselves on being a family-run group. So, and we see ourselves as a family, really, and our values are really important to us, and we want everyone to feel part of Kids Planet who come along and join us. So you can see some of the discounts there on the screen. So one of the main things, if you've got children of your own, it's an 80% discount on our nursery provision or our after school provision, which is a massive benefit, as you can imagine, if you've got children, how expensive nursery places are. We also have maternity, adoption and shared parental leave. And you can see more about that there. We also have paternity leave up to 6 weeks pay. We have fertility leave as well, which a lot of our team have taken as well, and really found that a benefit. We have enhanced annual leave, so 25 days holiday, and that increases year on year up to a cap of 27 days. And you get your birthday off, which everyone really likes. Actually, it's very nice to have your birthday off. So we reward excellence a lot. So we have loyalty vouchers, we have employee of the quarter, we have lots of celebrations of things at Kids Planet. We love to celebrate our teams. I run the training academy within Kids Planet, and we pride ourselves on the amount of professional development. So when you've completed your early years teacher training, there's lots more available to you to develop into specialisms, or even at a higher level as well. We do have master's degrees and things as well. So we're always encouraging you to continue your professional development if you want to. It's not mandatory. We have our own approaches to leadership. We call it Inspire, and our own approach to outdoor learning, which is called Ood School, which means outdoor classroom. And we're really passionate about getting our children outdoors. We've come up with new roles, such as sports coaches in early years and things as well, because we really want to push that outdoor and the play agenda as well. So if you love outdoors, then you'll love working at Kids Planet too. Wellbeing is really high on our agenda as well. We have a dedicated wellbeing manager, and that's her role is to look after our wellbeing with a team of mental health first aiders. We have free access to employee assistance programs, a wellbeing hub, counselling services, menopause support groups. So everything we can to support our colleagues and teams' wellbeing, again, is really important to Kids Planet. We do have AIM, which is All Ideas Matter, which is our employee voice. We meet once a month, and we have representatives from all departments who will feed into that forum to ensure everyone has a voice at Kids Planet. And we have things like shopping discounts and things like other benefits. If you work at Kids Planet, breakfast, snacks, drinks, lunch are all free as well. So we make sure that you're well fed as well. If you were a part of our family, so it's a wonderful organisation to work for. We, as I say, we pride ourselves on our family approach. So that's us in a nutshell. If you have any further questions, please do ask on the chat.
Thanks, Jill. That's brilliant. And I've got to say, it sounds like a fantastic opportunity, doesn't it?
Absolutely does.
Yeah, so many benefits. And I was just thinking as you were talking that we've worked with Kids Planet now for such a long time ourselves. So it's a fantastic partnership we've got. And as I said at the beginning, you genuinely are getting the best of both worlds, you know, having such a supportive employer and all those opportunities, and then having the access to the program as well. It's just a fantastic opportunity. But as we said, if you've got any questions, either now or afterwards, I just thought I'd put on here the link to our website. So again, if you've got things that you want to have a look at in terms of the program, there's videos on there, there's frequently asked questions. The team email is there, so EYTT@bestpracticenet.co.uk. If you've got any questions about your qualifications or things like that, again, we can answer any of those for you. So I can't see anything in the chat box, but does anybody want to unmute themselves and ask myself or Jill anything?
Hello, thank you for this opportunity, and I'm so grateful for this privilege. But I just want to know more. Someone asked that since she's not in UK, whether it's profitable for her to continue the training. But for me, I feel it's okay for me because I also run a preschool, actually a home preschool, where I groom kids on their reading skills. So I really want to know the success, how you were able to reach up to this level, because from my research, you have more than 96 nursery school. It's a great success, and there's a secret behind, and I really want to know. I really want to know. And also, if I can also come over, I have masters in education. So, and is an area I'm passionate about. Though I have kids of that age group, and I would love to be part of this organization.
That sounds fantastic, Francis, doesn't it, Jill? It sounds it sounds like you just, again, and that is what we would be wanting. We want somebody who is passionate to work in this age group, who again wants to develop further, and you know, really take that opportunity. So I'm sure, again, I don't know, Jill, if there's anything you want us to share or add on when we send the email after the webinar. If you've got like an overview of Kids Planet or anything else you want us to add on there, we can do.
Sure, yeah. So we do have like sort of a Kids Planet story, if you like, and how it all started off and how we've grown over the years. You mentioned the the success of it really, and so we can share that our story with you as well. And by all means, do come back with any questions as well, Francis. That would be no problem.
Fantastic. Anybody else got anything that they'd like to ask us whilst we're here? I know that a couple of people came in slightly late, so don't worry about that. We have recorded the session today. We will make sure that you're able to view the whole session and see all of the information that we've shared. No? Okay. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop my email in the chat box as well, in case anybody wants to get in touch with me.
I'll do mine as well.
Oh, brilliant. There you go. So you can come back to either myself or Jill, and you can see the team one that's on the slide there as well. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining, and we'll really look forward to hearing from you. We'll be looking out for your names coming forward. So I hope you have a lovely day, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Carolina. That's great. I'll look forward to your email.